but of Nigeria, of this state. First and foremost, the election came free and fair, to the best of my assessment. Also, during the electioneering campaign, the contestants actually conducted themselves peacefully. Unlike what characterized previous elections, even in this state, it was devoid of any violence, any recorded violence. So on the day of the election, unless for skeletal of places, few places, we can say the election was free and fair. Skeletal, unless in few places where the beefers did not work perfectly enough from the beginning, and I believe even in those places they were eventually rectified. So their performance was not too bad. In all the 177 wards in the state, if there are few places where these beavers did not work very well, they are negligible, and did not substantially affect the conduct of the election. Where they are negligible, 7 wards in the state. It appears this Sibu Kosebe, this buyer selling, has unfortunately come to be part and parcel of electioneering in Ekiti State. You know, this Sibu Kosebe started in Ondo State during the contest election for governorship of the late Barrister Owoseni Ajayi, and it has permeated the various elections thereafter. There was actually buying and selling by the political parties in the last election. You know, the rate of the buy and sell depends on the capacity of each of the political parties. Virtually all of them did buy and selling, but one outweighed the other in relative to their capacity. But this is bad for democracy. In a situation where people are purchased to set their conscience, it's too bad for democracy. Because voting exercise is a voluntary exercise to elect credible leaders. If you now make up your mind to vote for A, along the way, before you get to the polling booth, you are given some stipends, and you now vote for B, who is not competent, whom you know is not competent. How do you now correct that that representative when he's eventually elected? The first thing that will come to their mind to recoup the money they have spent in purchasing you. So everything must be done to ensure that this issue of buying and selling are eradicated in our system, because it's an affront to the free will to elect leaders. And in Ekiti, I realized that even the EFCC, the police, they were even helpless in ensuring that those people that were identified could not be arrested. Because there were, we read it and we saw it in the Facebook, that in some of the units where the EFCC attempted to arrest those people buying and selling, that they were chased out of the town. And up till now, we've not heard that anybody was arrested. So where do we go from here? They were chased out of the town. I can't confirm who bought, who sold, and who purchased. I can't confirm it. But everybody that contested in that election is entitled to seek redress in the election petition tribunal. So it's their constitutional right. It's their constitutional right if they decide to challenge the result of the election for one reason or the other. It's their constitutional right. They have not committed any offense by doing that. If they decide of the election, for one reason, as it is now, if election is conducted today, the incumbent president may be overwhelmingly re-elected. This is because, as at date, is complaining about 33 state governors in APC. Even the governors that are not in APC, they have actually working for him. Take, for instance, the governor of Osun State, who is now in a court party, is in spirit and indeed a fan of the president. He would have even crossed to the APC if not for the resistance of the home-based APC members who did not want him. So, and you know, all these governors and the interest they represent are also fighting for themselves. They will work to ensure that the president is elected so that they can keep their positions. So it may not be easy to dislodge the president in all the states controlled by these APC governors that now about 33. So even if there's a popular will to displace him, it may not really work to unseat President Tinubu. So, and for instance now, in the Southwest, who is going to resist him? In the North, virtually all the governors in the North are in APC, even the Southeast. Peter Obi, who have been a strong challenger, if Atiku has not snatched the ADC from him, if Obi and Kankaso ticket has the support of Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, it would have been a very tough battle. It would have been a very tough battle. But Atiku now, standing as candidate of ADC, and Peter Obi and Kankaso pulling out of ADC at the peak of the presidential primary, pulling out with Kankaso to NDC, a newly formed political party. And Atiku now flagging that of the ADC. It may not be easy to unseat President Bola Tinubu. Newly formed political party. Peter Obi and Kankaso pulling out. It may not be easy. Nigeria is facing a very serious situation now, economically, socially, and in the realm of security. And you will realize that when people become helpless, then they could be agents to people who are not interested in the progress of the country. When Nigeria is drifting to one party state, when the oppositions are numerous but are helpless, they may be thinking of alternatives. And only God knows what will be the alternative in their minds. But the collective alternative in their mind will be how to unseat the ruling party, anyhow. So, it is therefore incumbent on the ruling party not to assume that we have captured, not to see the electors as conquered people. They ought to be benevolent to them and do everything humanly possible to ensure that peace and tranquility is guaranteed by securing the environment for the people. A situation where thousands of people are in the forest, helpless there, including children, underage children. We cannot say we are at peace. For days, for months, and we can't get a solution to it. We cannot say such a country is actually independent of itself. For instance, it is sad to realize that Leah Shoaibu, that God-fearing lady, has been in the terrorist camp for over 12 years now, giving birth in their camp to 3 children from different fathers, just because he had faith in the religion he believed in, Christianity. And she had been raped, she had been made murder against her wish. And people have become helpless. The society where she's in hostage, where they are living normal life as citizens, is that environment, that society, they heard that lady? Is it existing in Nigeria? Is it existing below the sea? Is it existing where no human beings, where no security have answers of rescue to? It's a mystery to me as a person. And I know it's a mystery to many Nigerians that these bandits are living normal lives in the environment where we have government, and they have been able to keep thousands of people like Leah Shoaibu in captivity for years, and we don't have answer to it. It's a mystery to me in person, and I don't know what the various security agencies are doing to be able to dig out and unravel where these people are keeping these captives, and they are making them to live normal life. They bring women there, they go to hospital there, they go to market, yet these people don't have any means of escaping from them. Because I'm very sure somebody like Leah Shoaibu, if he had a means of escaping from the enclave, she would have escaped. She has been kept there in that dungeon for years. Of escaping from the any means of escaping from them. It's a shame, not only of this state, but of Nigeria, that these people still remain in captivity nearly 40 days now. And people are not even talking about them. Talk less of talking about their release. Now that the governor is back, there is no election fever hanging around him now. I want to seriously plead to him to do everything that is humanly possible to liberate these people. So that is my plea, and that can only be my comment in respect of the Dauniya captives. Thank you.
People of the Fountain.